Greetings, everyone. From time to time, I see comments under my videos, and individuals will begin that comment with saying, Mommy, or Mom, or Auntie Jenny. And I always feel it's such a honor to be referred to as such. I am one of those long-time big women who actually love the fact that with my life experiences, I grow wisdom. And I celebrate the fact that the young people can look up to me and refer to me as, Miss Jenny or Auntie Jenny, or any of the names I mentioned earlier. And I'm just acting in that role right now when I speak to these two young people, Trish and Jay. And I want you guys to know this is not for views. Um, I've spoken to you before, and the reason why I'm doing this publicly on my channel is because I really want to address some people. So while I'm talking to you, I am addressing some other people too. And I don't like hypocrisy. I just don't. And I feel like I need to call people out as I address both of you. Now, Trish, I love you. Andre, I love you. And I'm not going to pick any sides. I'm trying to be neutral. I'm trying to stay in the middle, but I want to speak facts. Okay? Now, as far as your relationship goal, let me tell you, when I found your channel online, I just thought it was one of the most beautiful things I saw. And my favorite part of your vlogs was when you were posting like movies. I think you guys have such chemistry. You balance each other out so well, and your story is riveting. I really think that now you have people like, PFS Films and One King Films and Richard Brown. I watch these guys. This is where I get my entertainment these days. But I'm telling you, they have nothing on you, Dre and Trish. And I think you should do more of those content. Now, as far as your relationship goes, and you have shared with us that there seems to be a separation between both of you, and you're doing the co-parenting thing. And that's what I really want to talk here about. Now, I saw your last video where, Trish was over Dre and, you're shooting your shots, as you call it. And it was entertaining to some people, and to some persons they took it very serious. And I'm going to warn you both to remember that whatever going forward, whatever you share with people, know that people are going to take sides. And if you don't want the bickering and the side expressions, then you have to be careful what you share, because people are going to pick sides right now. For the most part, people are seeing Trish as a bad person for the position that she holds right now, and saying, I just don't want to do this right now. It is over between us. But, it will never be over between both of you because you share a child. And there seems to be a genuine bond between both of you. There's a genuine respect that Trish has for you, Dre, that she always says that you're a good person. And you love her and want to respect her, but you clearly still love her and clearly think that you're giving her some time to change her mind. I think that's what's happening with you, Dre. Your love for her, you're not possessive to the point where you won't let her go. You feel like if you let her go, she'll find herself and find her way back to you. And that might be the case. But I don't want you to be very disappointed in the end, because I think when you share these things, even when you do the video, although you ask her permission to share it, I think you're hoping that the people will influence her to change her mind, and that might not happen. Okay, Dre, I want you to understand that the journey you have taken thus far is one that produced a child, and maybe the universe is saying, I'm not saying 100%, but maybe the universe is saying this is where it ends, and that your journey together must be one of father and mother and child, that bond that you're clearly trying to preserve. Maybe no one knows what the future holds. Maybe a month from now, 2 months from now, she might have an awakening and change her mind. But at the moment, she's saying, let's just do this as friends. And that I know you can honor. But as long as you're entertaining the thought that she's just going through something and that there's a possibility for her to change her mind, you're going to be hurt. Dre, maybe she's really moved on. Now, to the people who are coming out and saying, oh, Trish doesn't want Dre because, he doesn't have money, or Trish doesn't have doesn't want to be with Dre because she wants other man. I think a lot of you are such hypocrites. How many of you are with the same man that fathered your children? Or how many of you are with the same man when you were young? So when Trish and Dre got together, how many of you got together with men and are still with those men? These are the type of hypocrites I want to address right now. Some of you have been through so many men, but now you want to tell a young girl that she has to stay with this guy that she clearly says, I don't want to be with at the moment. I don't care why she don't want to be with him. I love Dre. But if the girl says, it's over and I don't want to go this journey anymore, who are you to try to judge her when you probably have been through so many men, much more men than she's ever been with? That's number one in my argument here. I want to say that sometimes, when we are going through a journey as women or young people with a man, the hardship, the ups and downs can be that thing that eventually drive people apart. You see, not everybody wants to be the struggle wife or the struggle husband. Not everyone is built that way. And especially if you have things that are like unhealed parts of yourself, trauma from your young days or your childhood, where you never received love, even when you're receiving that, but the struggles that you're going through with the person who even shares true genuine love with you, you can resent that time. How many of you have gone through a period of hardship, and during the time you listen to a certain type of music, whether it be gospel or love songs, if it's a love relationship, and when you hear those songs, you cannot stand to hear it. The same thing is true when you go through too much ups and downs. Like Dre and Trish lost their home to a fire. Dre has suffered ill health for a long time. You're not in the household when she's had to set aside her own feelings to help to deal with it, to cope with it. The type of illness that Dre has requires somebody to constantly live in fear that she might lose her partner. You were not there. So if she has stuck it out from all this time until now and just says, I cannot do this anymore, who are you to judge her? Who are you to judge any of them? If he wants to hold on and hold hope that it could work out, that is okay. I'm just speaking on this, Dre, because I don't want you to get hurt. I want you to start entertaining the thought that you might have lost her, even though you still love her. And that all the upheavals in your life has an end time, an end date. And just maybe your relationship together is one that is not necessarily toxic. That's not what we're looking at in this case. But it's one where where the rubber meets the road and the fire start gashing. And even though you're on the journey together, it is unpleasant. And she just wants her peace. She wants to be in a space to find herself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the young girl saying, I just don't want to do this. Maybe she doesn't want to be in a relationship. And if she's in a relationship with someone else, it happens all the time. People are together 15, 20 years, and suddenly one of the partner decide that they don't want to be with these persons anymore, this individual, this other person that for so long everybody knew as a couple. Men do it all the time. So as much as I love Dre, how many men impregnate ladies and one day they decide they don't want that woman anymore, and you other women tell that lady to move on with her life. So why can Trish move on with her life at a critical point when she needs to choose herself? She loves her partner. She loved Dre up until this point, and she loved her son to this point where she's willing to work it out so that they can be father and mother and still be friends. Now, there are times I must say to you, Trish, that when we make the decision to end a relationship, sometimes the chummy closeness that you had as a couple will not remain. And even though that might have been a prank or whatever, you're a beautiful girl, you're a very sexy person. So if you really want to create this boundary, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to say, well, my man is attracted to me. When I dress a particular way, I stir him. Or, he has feelings. He still has feelings. He's still a man. And when you were a couple, you were intimate. And so if you really want to create those boundaries, I'm not saying you should put on some long frock or whatever, but maybe you might not want to dress so sexy around him because it's going to be difficult for him. Listen, this is an older woman having a conversation with two young people. I'm not going to just, sugarcoat the thing. So when you're in your short, sexy dress, Trish, remember, he has not let go. He's just thinking that you need time away from him. You need time to heal. And that might be the case. Or it might not be. And so when you're going over to spend time with him and your son, maybe you could say to yourself, you know what? I don't want to make it more difficult for him. I don't want him to, step over my threshold of comfort. My comfort level is that we maintain this distance, no touching, no more intimacy. And maybe you might just have to adjust your behavior as well. Maybe you shouldn't be sleeping over. Sleeping in the same bed might be very difficult for him. It's not difficult for you because you have made up your mind. Do you get what I'm saying, Trish? And so some boundaries have to be established besides just saying, look at me, this is my beautiful body. And you have to examine yourself to say, do you want to know within yourself that is still attracted to you, even though you have made up your mind to move on? And Dre, you also have to establish the boundaries to say, okay, well, I have to respect you as a mother of my child and as my friend. And know that the relationship has changed, then you can't sleep over anymore. Or if you do, you can't come to my house dressed that way. Now, a woman should be allowed to dress anyhow she wants and have the person respect her. So I don't want you to get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if you really want to establish this distance between you and no intimacy between both of you, then you might want to consider that for your friendship's sake. Again, I'm going to repeat to the people who is coming after Trish, before you open your mouth and say anything about this young girl, about her decision to end her relationship with her partner, think about yourself and only how many men you have been through, because I cannot stand it. And I'm speaking on this because guess what, guys? I had a husband that I was with 15 years. And during the time I was with that husband, he was the only person, the first person I gave my body to. Okay? And then I spent 10 years as a person, single person. Okay? And during the 10 years, dated here or there. But let me tell you, when I say date, I don't say date the way some people say date, where they're sleeping with everybody that they go out with. That's not what I'm talking about. And I saw people come on my Facebook and refer to me as a ATO. And the individual that were saying these things to me, their mother have Wally Papitney with different men. And I'm thinking, how do you dishonor your mom by referring to me, who I was sure those girls were younger than me, and I sure they had more man than me. I know that for a fact. So when I see women referring to other women as, this word, and ready to judge the female because she make a decision that I'm choosing myself, my mental health, my well-being, I need this time to myself. And if she chooses to leave her relationship and go to another man, so what? I love you, Dre, but so what? Because guess what? If you got up one day and decided you didn't want her anymore and wanted other women, there's nothing Trish could do about it. I don't like it. And there are a lot of women who might have gone through a lot of men before they get to their prince because they decided they didn't want to settle. So we as women, we always, this old time, long time, big woman, love to judge the young people when they are bad. They used to be bad. They're still bad. They're in the church and they're still bad. Leave the young girl alone. If she decides that she doesn't want to be in the situation anymore, maybe it has come to the end. And if they decide to rekindle, we're happy for them. But we give them a chance to respect them both, whatever decision they make. They're young people and they're trying to at least be good parents to their son. And that's what matters. Okay? That is what matters at the end of the day. So, Trish, I wish you all the best. Figure yourself out, get some counseling if that's what you need. And Dre, if it is not meant to be, I know it's not an easy thing to let go someone you love, but sometimes you have to let go what you love, and if it's meant to be, it comes back. And to these big people, and I know young people are like that too, just love to be negative. Some of you that are criticizing Trish right now don't have enough, man. You have a lot of, what they call that thing where you're counting all the men that you've been with, notches on your belt. Leave the young girl alone. How many men have you been with? And when you were ready to leave, your men, did you want people judging you and calling you names? And so what if Trish decided to leave him because he didn't have money? How many of you have done that in the past? How many men trade their women and their children to run off with a woman because she has money? It's a common thing. So stop making it look like, she has to carry the beast of a burden on her shoulder to stay in a relationship where she feels like it's no longer serving her. It sounds selfish, but it's the reality of life. And men do it all the time. And, women justify it. If a woman cry about it for too much, too long, they think she should just get over it and move on. But we always feel sorry for men. Struggling with a man and building with somebody is wonderful. But you see, the stress and the troubles and the problems, it gets to you and it can separate love. And I want you to remember that. All the best to the young couple, whatever it is you decide. I'm always here for you if you ever want to talk to me. All right? But I'm not choosing none of you. I like both of you very much. And if you're together as a couple or separate as a couple, it makes no difference to me. Take care of yourself. Take care of your beautiful son. And that's what matters. And if it is meant to be, you will come back together. Stay blessed, everyone.